Hi, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we have the one and only awesome. Austin on the show. This individual has an amazing story behind him, and actually we got connected because Connor over at Zillow, and he popped in on an episode that we were on with Connor, and Dan and I were on that episode. So Austin, welcome to the show. We can't wait to hear your story and dive into you, your business, and what you're doing. So welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. And how we knew that is my buddy who's never met Connor was talking to y'all, and I was like, what is he talking to him? And so I was like, I got to put on a shirt and come on the show too. So it was awesome, man. I love where we are now, man. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Yeah, of course. So you've had lots of success. You're doing a lot of different things from, being an investor, Airbnb platform, or should I say portfolio, and then you're also doing some coaching. I have the YouTube channel here behind me. Give me some context as far as what are you doing on the coaching side, and maybe just tell us, how did you get to where you're at today with that?
So I'm about to glaze over a very long story, but you'll get the gist of it. So in my early 20s, I started in the restaurant business, and being introduced to alcohol led to cocaine, which led to meth, which led to me a full-blown meth addiction. And I was homeless, sleeping in a closet underneath stairs for like 3 months, laying brick and tile because I couldn't get a job. I didn't have a car or anything like that. So I kicked the meth addiction, and then was a high-end bartender for 20 plus years in hotels and all around. And alcohol is more acceptable to continue that life, and you get in that cycle. And I was an alcoholic for 20 years. And then since I've been sober for almost a good 2 years, I've lost 70 pounds. Wow. I've changed my entire life around, who I hang around with. And through all those experiences, I really wanted to give back. And I was coaching for like 4 years for free. And then one day somebody asked if they could pay me, and I was like, all right, this is different. And then, you get into that first call and they're talking about leaving their wife, and you're like, okay, we just got serious here. This is not hey, this is free. This is for real. So I started taking it very seriously, and I started doing some NLP training and just kind of using my life experiences. And it's full blown into something that I really enjoy. I love seeing a lot of my guys are young dudes, new to the game, and it's so cool to be able to open their eyes to some of these things they never would have thought they would have a chance to understand so quickly.
Wow, that's good for you. That's awesome. That and I think you're one of the first in the show that's encountered what you've encountered in your life, and the way that you're giving back and supporting and helping is amazing. And it's so important too, because being a coach, as you are, I'm sure you see it. It's like someone can take the stubborn road and be stubborn and take 10, 15, 20 years to see that success. Or you could say, hey, here's your holes. This is what you need to do. And instead of taking 20 years, let's get you some success here in 5. Or maybe 2.
There's a real conversation. And I only say this because I've been around them and I've seen it. I have friends that are 22 that have 190 units. There's a real conversation now with what's available out there that if you start at 18 or 17, that you technically could be retired at 24 or 22. That's a real conversation. And so I'll be 39 in December, and I'm like, guys, infinite banking, overinflated life insurance policy, get a financial advisor, do this thing, and then boom, you wake up at 28 and you're done. Like, that's a real conversation, and that's what I get so much joy out of the coaching stuff.
Dude, that's awesome. You get my wheels turning over here. That's great. So what are you doing currently? Give me kind of day in the life of coaching.
So the hottest girl at the party is Airbnb, right? I mean, that's, I started out with an air mattress and seriously an air mattress in a room, wound up getting that up to 3 houses, wound up grossing $113,000 in 1 year. And I was like, holy crap, this is a thing. And then I joined a mastermind and met guys that had 20, 40, 80, 120 Airbnbs, and they started teaching me automation. They started teaching me apps that you could use. And so what we did is we wound up starting the Airbnb management company. And in 6 months, this was 2.5 years ago, in 6 months, we grew that to 26 properties in 6 months in 7 states. It was bananas. It was crazy because I had gone from 3 to this, and we were bringing in like $60K a month, and like it was nuts. But we didn't have any money. And so we grew up, and long story short, I lost a lot of money from that business. We and the other business partners decided that we, didn't see eye to eye on the future, so I had to walk away, and I lost $26,000. But it was the spark that got me out of the restaurant business, and it was finally I jumped into something that I believed in, and it was actually those guys that were recovering alcoholics as well. And so it was the first time that I've been around people that were sober and successful. Wow. So it created this space. So I'll forever be grateful. Now, that being said, that was crazy. And I really licked my wounds for 6 months, and I worked private equity for a while. And then I started getting the itch again, and clients started coming to me, and we started thinking about, there's an opportunity in Airbnb, but you need to make sure that you're owning it and it's not owning you, right? And so what we focus on now is large scale Airbnbs. So what we're working on currently is, $1 million up in homes, like properties that really move the needle. But what we're working on more importantly is large scale shipping container or like TP operations on properties. So where you could have yoga retreats, masterminds. These are the things that I think creating experience over money, I think, is where you're going to win in the end.
Wow. I love how you just stumbled upon stuff. Like you're like, well, 100,000 in gross here. Like there's something maybe we could explore.
And what I try to tell everybody is, just so I can paint a picture, I had 2 jobs. One was a traveling salesman and a full-time restaurant gig, and I was running 3 Airbnbs and cleaning them all myself. I was cleaning them at 3 a.m. at 10 o'clock at night, and you're just like, you have no idea what you're doing. and then you're like, but what did it for me? What really did it for me is we had Final Four and spring break in 1 month, and I did $21,000 in 30 days in gross, and that's when I was like, okay. This is like, we have a full-on business. Let's slow down. Let's talk to some people that are farther along, and let's figure out how we can, like real estate versus tech. Let's think about how we can automate and get ourselves out of the rat race on that. That's really the key.
Scalability is, what's going to drive longevity. So I think.
And they have like bots, right? That are bots that are answering it. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm just going to go with it. And then I remember the first one where it's like the guest booked, and then it sent a message like, thank you so much, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I can do like 40 of these now. Let's go. And like that changed my whole game. And that really is what you're mentioning, scalability.
Love it. I love how you hit the nail on the head, and I think for all the listeners and viewers out there to take in consideration that technology can definitely help you scale your real estate business or your Airbnb business or whatever, and there's so many more facets to that. So Austin, tell us, where are you located? Where are you currently based at?
So long story short, I went to 16 states in the last 6 months working from my laptop. We were traveling up the West Coast, and we decided that we wanted to be somewhere for a little bit. So I'm in Austin, Texas, Dripping Springs area. Actually, we live on a farm in a tiny home. It's 250 square feet. It's not very big, but we love where we live. I can be in Austin in 20 minutes, and there's an airport right there. But really, everybody talks about their dreams, right? And they talk about their goals. I have 2 goals. One is to be location independent. It's the only thing I care about. I do not want a location to determine. I'm going to Sardinia, Italy for all of June, and I'm going to work from there because I got invited there. And so, that's what this technology world allows me to do. I was thinking about yesterday, I was coaching my clients wearing my sleeping pants, and I was like, what a world we live in right now.
Dude. Amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
But wouldn't you agree, gentlemen, because I know this is part of your business, wouldn't you agree that because of COVID, people are more inclined and more comfortable with Zoom now as business transaction than they ever were before. I think it's changed the game.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
So I'll give you a quick story. It's about you, but my wife and I during COVID listed our townhouse in Hayward. Neighbors next door sold their place for $499. We were thinking we wanted to get like something over asking, but we're like, whatever. They boxed it, no staging, horrible job. We used my sister-in-law, she's a realtor, and she did everything, staged, pictures, the whole nine. Even during COVID, even with scarcity mindset all around us, media, yada, yada, yada. We got 46,000 over asking. We came to Arizona, right, during COVID, 8 months before even hitting, we were already virtual. And so we made the move. We got this house 100,000 less than that house. And it's probably a little 3,300 square foot. It's probably a little bit bigger than we need, but it's all good. You know, we rent out a room, we get income there. We're going to Airbnb another room, get income there, offices in another room, and quality of life went through the roof even during COVID and all these waters, and it's been a blessing. So I will 100%.
Yeah. I actually just left Arizona. So if you need to know anybody in Arizona, I know everybody. So I'll hook you up. So what city do you live in?
I'm in Gilbert.
Okay. Yeah, my dude, I got you. Don't worry about it. My buddy lives around the corner. I can get you hooked up. No, because think about it, guys. And I study people because I worked as a high-end bartender in hotels forever, and I'm a psychology major. This single-handedly, the urbanization of America was moving towards cities. But with the change of COVID, with Facebook and Instagram telling their people they can work, I have friends that are in Indiana, Louisville, Nashville, that I think for the next 20, 30 years, you're going to see a massive switch in what we were seeing as a trend for 20 years. And I think, that's where large scale apartment complexes being built are going to change the game. And I think you're about to see an extreme shift, not just with politics, but with just everything, really.
Yeah. I definitely agree. So last question before I switch it off to Dan, and we definitely need to talk offline here. But what's the best part about working with your company and coaching? What do you enjoy the most about it?
I heard the greatest compliment I ever got from one of my coaching clients was he said, with you really dial into who I am and what I need right then. And what I mean by that is I'm not putting them in a washing machine. And then they're just going to run through my program. I make all my clients take a personality test. I make all of them write a 5-year vision. And one of the greatest, we're so worried about, like, let's talk about your childhood issues. Yeah, we'll get there. Like, but how do we get you great in the next 30 days, right? And I think some people need health. Some people need to be a better relationship with their spouse. Some people need to learn real estate investing. I think as a coach, being able to tailor and get the journeys with them and like watch them like get in better health and like close that big deal, man, I don't know if there's any better feeling. And more importantly, I can do it from anywhere. That's the main thing.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
totally cool. And then you probably have clients from, all different walks of life, professions, like, part of that journey, I think, is personal development, but also business development. Like, what do you set business goals for them and try to get them to work in their business or out of their business? Like, how do you navigate the whole professional side of coaching and getting them to where they need to be?
I was thinking about this morning on my walk, actually. I worked in private equity. I came from the restaurant business. I have failed a lot in business. And so I'm basically telling them, like, one of my favorite lines that I use to describe my coaching is everybody builds a business and then wraps a lifestyle around it. I'm asking you to build a lifestyle and then wrap a business around it. And it's so important that we understand truly, and I mean this wholeheartedly, what our goals are. Not our fathers, not our brothers, not our cousins. What do you want? Because we set the goal as, I'm going to be a millionaire, right? Okay, yeah, but do you understand how much work that takes? What if you only need to make $100,000 a year and you can spend every moment with your kid? Like, we have to truly define what makes us happy. And I think what's exciting to me, and this is what I tell every young kid, if there's any young kid listening, I swear to God, this is the most important thing you'll ever hear. Every minute that you are wasting in your 20s not building passive income or building a future, you're taking a minute away from your future kids.
Wow.
I meet so many 50-year-olds that wish and hope and beg they would have learned about real estate in their 20s because they have to go to work and not spend time with their kids. So every minute that you're watching Netflix or you're out drinking at the fucking bar and wasting time, you are taking those moments and time away from your kids. Remember that, because you'll be 33 and wishing that you would have started at 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Good. It's a good message. I mean, it's we see it as, and I'm an investor myself, and like if I would have known what I know now 10 years ago, it's a big game changer in terms of scalability and diversification and understanding deal acquisition and all those components.
And understanding that we as investors, meaning you as a human, you only know what you don't know because you don't know. Mm-hmm. Like what I find alarming is the financial education lack thereof in America. Like we don't have any idea how money works. It's not until you work private equity that you're like, oh, Blackstone is just lending out all their money and getting a percentage off of it and then making money on top of that. The world is just one big transaction, and you have to understand how the money operates because then you feel better about lending it or investing and stuff like that. And I think that's what's exciting about surrounding yourself with that different sectors, and they're understanding like, okay, look, I have a buddy. I have two finance buddies. I have a buddy who manages $4.5 billion for UT, their endowment fund. When they talk about buying trees in Brazil because the price of lumber is going up in America, I'm like, what? Like, that's so next level that it's utterly ridiculous because they're buying the actual asset before the asset turns into the 2x4 in your apartment. Like, they're following trend on top of trends, right? You know, like, it's super crazy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Wow. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Usually we do like a quick round, but since you're like a wild card guest and this is awesome, I think let me just ask some questions about technology in your business. Sure. You know, being a coach, like what is your go-to technology that would, if you took it out of your business, you'd be like screwed, couldn't be efficient, can't communicate as well, whatever that is. Why don't you share that with us?
Video. Like it's video because so what I've done, God, I hate giving away all my tricks. So what I've done is this is a separate issue, but kind of important, still the same. I stopped writing text happy birthdays. I do videos now. It's so much more personal to see somebody's face, to see their mannerisms. And when you can hear what they're saying and I can pick up a lot off of that. But when I had that video with my clients, you know, you can really hone into their body language and how they're thinking, and you really allow them to see your face. So video would be number one. You know, social media, to be honest with you, can have its faults, but the scalability and reach of it is really something that I think that is just scratching the surface. You know, talking to people in Australia and talking to people, you know, I think it's really those two things I think are super important.
That's awesome.
And then in disruption, like what do you see as the next trend of, you know, disruption in the technology business?
So I think that there are new currencies in this world, and those don't revolve around money. And I think the new currency is experiences, thinking outside the box, relationships, and attention. And if you are living in this world and you do not have, I don't care if you post one time a week, but if you don't have a social media account or whatever, you're falling behind the wayside because we're just moving to that way where, you know, there's people I know that are buying property from California and Indiana and they've never been there, and they've been buying property for 6 years. And so the disruption is always going to be something new. I would really love if somebody would disrupt Airbnb. I think the guy's a tool bag. I think I don't like him. He has not treated the host well. So something that I will say though is that when you talk about disruption, know this: there are certain things in this world, no matter the platform, will always be around. And what I mean by that is there was Airbnb, like short-term vacation rentals in Florida, long before there was Airbnb. So make sure that you position yourself as an expert, and it won't matter what platform you're on.
There you go. I mean, that's what we preach in Liftoff Agent as a positioning agency, is that as a real estate professional.
But to harp on something that I've been thinking about the whole interview, and to harp on technology, I don't think people try enough to try things. Is what I mean by that is, okay, so you've got a business. I have a client, right? He runs a very profitable brokerage and investor firm. He said, man, I'm not feeling it lately. I'm just like, something's off. Like, I'm tired. It's been a long year. It's been crazy. Young kid. I said, travel. He goes, what? I said, just get out of your business. Like, make it hard on yourself, right? So he went down to Texas for 2 weeks, mastermind with some young kids. They started doing more deals. And things that he thought were so hard when he was there, his team learned how to do them. And what I mean by that is twice, the first time, I had an Airbnb running. I went to Europe for 8.5 weeks. So I'm in Spain, running my Airbnb from Spain, and I'm going, holy crap. My bills are getting paid, the cleaner's showing up. And when you remove yourself from your business and you allow technology to do what technology was born to do, you really realize how maybe you've been pressing. Maybe you've been like, well, nobody else can do this, but like but you're also not allowing your team to step up, right? You're not allowing them to fix the things, that they could do and stuff like that. And to piggyback off of that idea, something that I tell everybody, when you're growing a company and you're growing a system, or you're growing a platform, or you're hiring people, everything that you do, everything, video it, screenshot it, screen share it, whatever that is, because that is allowing you, when you go to train new people, to remove yourself from the training process. And it allows you to focus on revenue producing income.
Yep. Being proactive. Love it.
Good stuff. Well, I'll pass it back to you, Norm. I know we're coming towards close to the end, so.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really appreciate all of what you're giving our audience and viewers. And I like this as a I love this as a wild card. So that way it gets out of that kind of like monotonous, same type of cadence, which is fantastic. And I think that there's some amazing gold nuggets here. So give us some data. So you have a client, they go through the assessment as far as personality analysis, you're coaching them, they have the 5-year plan. Like, what's the success that you're seeing from some of your top clients that you want?
What we're seeing is, like, if you give me a goal, I'm going to double it every time. It's not even a question. And because you're setting the bar at something, and if it were here, then maybe we don't reach there, but at least we move past the goal that you set already. And so a lot of the guys are alphas, and they're young and they've made money, and they come to me and they're like, look, I don't need a damn cheerleader. I don't need a cheerleader. Don't. And then 2 weeks in, we're talking about how their dad doesn't love them, or, whatever. They come to me for something. And what I'm looking for them to do is have a more honest relationship with themselves. And when the true gift, look, I can't go and physically do the investing for them. I can't physically go and work out for them. But what I notice and where I know I'm doing the right thing is self-awareness. They might have the negative thought, but they understand it, why it's there, and they work on it. Boom. And that's when I know that we're truly getting to something. Because we as men, right, especially men, talk to a guy who's been divorced this year, we think that we communicate properly, yet I don't think we really communicate at all. And so I'm trying to make sure that their goals and their wants and their needs are communicated to their spouse. And so everybody can be on the same team and be headed towards the right direction, and understand that half of the reason that we're not where we want to be is because we've created the mess that we're currently in. And so if we break down how we got there, then we can break down how to get out of it, right? And I think that's where we're at.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I love that. So coming to the end of the show, where I would love to be able to find out, A, how anyone can follow you, and B, is there any last little nugget you want to give to our listeners and viewers?
So this is my new soapbox I'm on. There's this 3-letter word that adults have forgotten, and I'm really over it. And it's called FUN. It's called fucking fun. You ever heard of it? We are so concerned to get to our goals that we don't have fun anymore. And this game is fun. This is fun. I'm excited about this. This is great. I've been on a podcast next. That's fun. So have a little fun in your journey. Dance too much. Take your shirt off. Stand in the rain. Get a little weird, because we got a long life to live. So live your life on legacy. And Norm, I'm going to have you on the podcast dance coming up soon. So I'm excited to have you on. But guys, how you can find me is Construct Your Life Podcast. And then Austin Linney on Instagram. I will answer anybody. I'm here to help support anybody I can on their journey.
That's awesome, man. Really glad we had you. This is great.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. Norm, I'll touch base with you offline.
Yeah, definitely. Likewise. So thank you so much, Dan, for co-hosting. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Austin, for bringing the fire. I definitely feel like our viewers and listeners are going to take something that they can apply to their business. As at the end of the day, that's our goal, right? We want our viewers and listeners to take things from our podcast and apply to their business so they can have more massive success. So we will see you all on the next one.
Hope you found value. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. Comment below with what you learned. And if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new podcast episodes coming out. Now, I want to go ahead and show you, if you see here on your screen, you can click join our Facebook group page, and you can go ahead and be a member of our community page. We love to be able to share what type of technology you're using on this page. And also, if you want to go ahead and do some networking all across the country, you can go ahead and network on this Facebook group page. If you're a real estate professional, focus on a specific niche, whether it's a buyer, specific type, seller, specific type, or a specific area. We would love to hear your story and how are you growing and scaling your business using technology to focus on that demographic. And if you're a technology owner, have a technology you want to share, and you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, the podcast, all you have to go ahead and do is send us an email at reversetechtalk@gmail.com. And we'll see you on the next one.